go to Isaiah 58, because that really, while it's in the Old Testament, it's really a New Testament chapter. And there, the subject of fasting is clearly discussed, where in verse 3, the Jews were asked, or the question is raised, wherefore, this is Isaiah 58, verse 3, wherefore have we fasted, they say, and thou seest not, and so on. And then Jesus said, or God says in verse 6, and I said Jesus because he is the Word of God, he has given us this whole Bible. In verse 6, is not this the fast that I have chosen, to loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke? Is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry, and that thou bring the poor that are cast out of thy house? When thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh. You see, in other words, when we look at all these statements that I've just read, they all focus on sending out the gospel. That is the fast that God gives us. In other words, in the Old Testament, they fasted by abstaining from food. They afflicted themselves. That was the way they afflicted themselves. But as we send out the gospel, we are not to think about what's in it for me. We're not to think about the privations that will occur because we are faithfully sending out the gospel. We are ready to afflict ourselves in order that the gospel can go out and people can be set free from the bondage of sin. They can be clothed with the righteousness of Christ. They can hear the word of God so that that God will give them the bread of life.